from Electrical Engineering Department, and I have been teaching in Polytechnic since 2010.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. I am an educator from Electrical Engineering Department, starting last year at Polytechnic.
Assalamualaikum. I'm from Electrical Engineering Department, and this is my third year as a lecturer in a Polytechnic.
Since the establishment of Polytechnic in Malaysia, the program of technical and vocational education has elevated in order to cater the industrial demands and needs.
According to UNESCO, Tvet is actually concerned with acquisition of knowledge and skill in the world of work. In a polytechnic context, Tvet is actually aiming to produce a graduate that not only knowledgeable in the selected area, but also a graduate that able to perform and execute the job in the real situation life.
Okay, Tvet stands for Technical and Vocational Education Training, where it is about gaining and relating the knowledge and skills for future working opportunities. In other words, we are offering the employer students that can be hired for working opportunities. Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah, I strongly agree with the statement because the technical and vocational education was very important in order to generate useful human capital since long time ago. Thus, in 21st century, there is no way to just implement the theory itself without any practical complement. Based on research by Ministry of Education Malaysia, our national economic growth demands an increasingly higher number of Tvet graduates going forward.
In line with our vision, moving toward high technician in 2020, the transformation in education is necessary. A high technician is not just about having the technology or using the technology as the end user. We need to be able to produce and develop the technology itself. And in order to do that, we need a quite amount of human capitals that have the knowledge and the skill. And that is what we are producing with the Tvet. Well, from my opinion, the fact that Tvet is using a practical approach is a major plus point to inspire learning or gain the student interest. Just imagine learning of how a machine works in a class using an image and slide, or having a first-hand experience watching a real-life machine operate in the lab, which will be more interesting. I think the second option is more tempting. In addition, with the new approach of teaching technique that been used these days, such as student-centered learning, the process of learning in class can be more interesting with the participant of the student and lecturers.
Even though my experience is still lacking, but I can say that by implementing Tvet, there are a lot of changes or differences throughout the year.
Okay, throughout my little experience in teaching, a lecturer must ensure to teach in two-way communication with students in lectures, or in other words, we must always implement the outcome-based education such as group assignment, topic discussion, pop quiz, mind mapping, and so on. Thus, this will generate soft skill among students. Okay, therefore, lecturers must enhance their creativity in order to attract the student attention through the technical and vocational education training.
In my opinion, students would prefer to do more practical rather than just listening theory in the class. Okay, they thought that by doing this, they would have more understanding on a particular courses that they take. Okay, but they are simply wrong because students need to understand that by learning the theory, the right theory, then they can have the right practical in their courses.
If upon to the student, of course, they will prefer the enjoyable and fun way to learn, which is the real hand approach. But of course, the practical alone is not sufficient. They still need to learn a bit more on the theoretical part in the class. That is why the student-centered learning is needed to ensure that even though in the class the learning process is as enjoyable as much.
Okay, currently we are enforcing blended learning in polytechnic. Okay, blended learning is one of e-learning method. In polytechnic, okay, we are using CDOS as a platform to communicate between lecturers and student in virtual. For example, we will upload our e-notes in the CDOS.
Okay, for me, blended learning is an innovative method in Tvet that was introduced in polytechnic. Okay, blended learning is an online courses that become a platform for two-way interaction between lecturers and student in virtual approach. Okay, as in polytechnic, we implement the CDOS as e-learning portal where lecturer and student can access it anytime and anywhere. Okay, as for me, as a lecturer, I can upload notes, assignment, lab sheets, videos and others at my CDOS platform, whereas this become very convenient to lecturers and students.